Hello, friends. I haven't appeared for a long time, but the topic is so burning that I couldn't keep silent. It's interesting for me to analyze. Most of all, of course, I am interested in your comments, to be honest. That's right, be filled if you can, because my opinion is such a thing. Yes, as they say, this is only one side of the coin. But I think there will be different opinions. Here, now such an acute issue has suddenly become demography. Although I am not a citizen of Russia, but I am a citizen of the CIS. But you never know, maybe someday I will want to move to my historical homeland after all. That's why the issues in Russia, of course, on the territory of the CIS in general, they concern all people in one way or another. But I care, yes, I care about demographics. I'll tell you honestly, as just a Russian white man, I have such a thing. Where it came from, I have no idea. Well, in general, let it be, I don't mind. But here are serious men and figures, I know, I have seen them. Often before, they appeared on TV with some clever, therefore, statements. It's interesting for me to evaluate their train of thought a little bit, politically and economically in this direction. But I'll tell you, now while it's going to be like this, I didn't take the lyrics out of context. After all, I left the video almost entirely. I have already cut out some things at the end, but there is a chatter. The very essence, that is, they both approach the topic, so to speak, from afar. So let's listen to everything. It's amazing how much men are generally isolated from MD information, as I understand it, and from the real situation in life. Well, let's hear it. I'll try to interrupt less. Haters, hi. I'm old, bald. They're haters all the time for some reason, like to find fault with my appearance, I don't know why. Here they are very offended by this old bald cheekbone, which, however, does not pull on Varussia. I will definitely make another video about Varussia. I'll open that topic. The fact is that it was a two-part video. So I will explain the second part later. Okay, let's listen to these guys. Discusses a completely different questions, not only of the economy. And I think that is worthy of attention the statements and opinions of the General Director of VTSIM, Konstantin Abramev, which is one of Analny discussions. Well, as a matter of fact, I have once again stated a fact that we have repeatedly discussed, and that we are certainly concerned about. Demography. Among young people aged 18-24, the opinion that a family can be without children is becoming more and more popular. Konstantin Abramev said, and called this trend alarming, and interestingly, he immediately gave an example, as they say, from life from the field. This is what he sees, what catches his eye. He said that we have one structure that deals with youth policy. And in this structure, wonderful, wonderful young girls and women come to various events. And they are all unmarried and without children, with dogs, as Konstantin Abramev said, and as a matter of fact, the idea that he expressed was the following, that government officials should set an example, including in the demographic sphere. And he says that women used to bring their children to the event. Well, because there were situations when there was nowhere to leave them. Yes, that is, it's normal. But when women bring dogs that have nowhere to leave, it's very disturbing and sad. Therefore, we can say that on the first day at the Eastern Economic Forum in Vladivostok, we discussed, well, probably the most pressing problem of our country today is demography. And I think it's the right thing to do. And this problem should be discussed, it should be solved. Because the two most acute problems today are demographic and related migration problems, which we also talk about very often. Nikolai, I read about demography, and I came across one interesting statistic. You know how much alimony Russian men pay on average now? On average, it is estimated, however, this amount is around 10 to 12,000 months. For such an amount, of course, a woman will not feed a child, this is natural, and not 80% of alimony payers. Well, guys, somehow apart from the statistics that mostly women get divorced, yes, I will not insert. Here, of course, you can make a montage, as this mother stands in front of Lubkovsky, who has 3 or 5 children there. I listened to you, got divorced, and now I can't find a man. They are separated from it all. They are in isolation. There is no such thing. All our women are beautiful by default. No, the dads have gone to get bread. Drank, smoked, changed everything. That's 100% we're like that. And that's why they don't pay for it. Apparently. Scoundrels. And this is what is happening in our God-bearing and stapled Russia, in which we are now saying that it should grow according to tradition, so that it should acquire traditions. That's exactly what's happening. And a woman is completely unsure of her future. By the way, it is often because of Russian men. Of course, the man is to blame for everything, but I'm sorry, where is the cold there? In which head organ? Yes. Well, where's the cold? Well, on the head, yes, in general. Either I do not know, or it's just that I don't see it in my blue eye. I don't see it. Here's the dew of God in your eyes. Poor women suffer because of men. I'll tell you more than that. When do they come here? He says, there are no men like you, there are no men. Well, there are no men in Russia. And who is it? Who is subscribed to me? I don't know. Who are these buyer-bots or something? The fact that she was not abandoned in trouble, this is the first. Second, so as not to leave her in trouble. I'll tell any of you married people, what do you earn there? With your hands, a pen, or what? Go cut off this organ for yourself. Come to your wife and see how she is. So smart, huh? As soon as you stop earning, your mother will leave you sick, crooked. What is it? This is a universal known fact. She's still young, she's still going to find it. Who attaches whom? What kind of one-sided perception is absolutely that man shit everything? The second thing I will say is that, of course, here are 18. Are you not a Russian man? Are you not a Russian man yourself? But you probably pay alimony, of course. You probably have one. You say 18, 23 years old young people say that they easily imagine a family without children. Well, because at this age, in the modern world, children are not being started yet. Because first the career, then the children. At the time, 50 years ago, it was the opposite. First the kids, then the career. What kind of career? What kind of career? They trade, walk around with their little face, and look for a rich man. That's it. There are no other classes. What kind of career? What percentage is making a career there? 5%. Now the general thing is being pulled up under them, that they are, well, who is making a career there? Konstantin Abramov just believes that this is a big problem, that women are primarily engaged in a career, and do not combine it with the birth of children in any way. But you're fair. This is logical. You understand that the first crosses to the second, that is, if a woman feels perfect. I understand, guys, it's dragging on. That's just not the point. We haven't even gotten to the bottom of it yet. Now let's get to the point. It is absolutely not reliable, knowing that in the end, she will be abandoned, thrown, and there will be no money. She, of course, is first to choose a career to protect themselves. Well, in fact, I will say this, there is a lot of truth in your words, but let's try to connect several aspects that, it would seem, are not related to each other. So, there are irresponsible men who do not pay alimony or pay them in such quantities that, well, maybe they can't even feed a dog. That's what some women have instead of a child today. The Russian economy is actively developing despite the activities of the central bank and the high rate due, among other things, to large salaries for military personnel, payments of people who sign contracts of high government orders for various products. In other words, this high income of the population is a stimulator of economic development. We combine all this. The special military operation will end. The army, I believe, I do not know, will come to a position, let's say, which is indicated by the military doctrine that we had for peacetime. Question. The people who are defending Russia now receive decent pay for this. They will have to go to work, return to their peaceful professions and receive wages there. And if this salary is not comparable with their military income, they will not be very happy. This is the first one. Second, we will need another, or rather another, or the same driver for the economy. People have to earn a lot of money. First of all, then God forbid they will pay alimony, God forbid. Because it would be better if they lived as a family, and there were no elements. Yes, all the money was spent in the family as it should be. Yes, it would be better, of course, as a family, but who would have done it? Worked out. It must be. So the conclusion from this is as follows. And let's think about it because there were proposals on this topic, including Fair Russia for the truth about it, about the allowance for a woman as a mother who... Wait a second, that's the most interesting thing. It will enable a woman, for example, not even to work. And this will be a great way to invest money in the economy to improve demographics and make the issue of paying money not a key one in human relations. You know, I would generally take on the state, this is not a lot of money responsibility for these penny elements that do not solve problems. And then, somehow, I would have collected them from men there, or said that I didn't at all. Yes, somehow there with a man to seek you know what. What does it look like? He's going to finish, I'll tell you. Here is a man, if he does not want to pay money for his child, he will regret it later, simply because sooner or later, he is ashamed. Yes, am I right? Yes, it will definitely become everyone. What do you want to pay single women? Right. That is, when she is without a husband, then she receives this maternity capital. Well, you misunderstood. A woman in any position, whether she is married or unmarried, she has a child, and she receives her mother's salary. If she's married, she's beautiful. If she has any problems in her personal life, well, Nikolai, how many trillions is that? Now they will talk about government spending. How many trillions is that? Well, in fact, in general, the idea, now we're going to finish them. Really liked both of them in the end. I like the idea too. I like it too. And let's do this. Yes, we will take them a woman. She gave birth to one, a salary of 30,000, gave birth to the second, a salary of 60, for example. I gave birth to a third salary of 90,000, and tell me, these princes are waiting, and others, who will calmly buy vouchers for 90,000 a month somewhere. Yes, to warm countries, such hot vouchers. Why would she? You don't have to work. Children to mom. She will leave the children to her mother. And an urgent trip to Egypt. Yes, and then an Egyptian baby will be born. Why not? And so it will be. The Hindu will be born. An Egyptian, maybe. I have nothing against races and nationalities. I have nothing against. That is, I don't feel sorry for it, but the Russian Vanechka won't get access to it. From the Russian Vanechka, she will not give birth, suppose, yes. Well, let's assume this kind of mom, right? But for her 90,000 a month, she will call the Russian Vanechka to make her a more comfortable crib, yes. So that it would be possible with some stallion who is somewhere on a dating site, you know, some kind, they will already choose stallions. He will write so on the dating site. The growth of such and such is the press, all the mind, I have nothing pumped up. Here is such a beautiful, curly face. But not that I'm an old scoof, but such a handsome one, yes, will it be. Both for reproduction and will write. And in principle, so, you know, half the town can register. And Vanechka will pay with taxes. After all, where will the money come from? They will be taken from the egg tax. Very simple. You have. Do you have children, Van? There isn't. Pay tax. We will provide Natasha with Natasha. And he. And from whom is Natasha giving birth? And that's none of your business, buddy. Are you against the demography of Popper? Yes. You, Vanechka, give her a Wi-Fi plug and make a comfortable crib. The mattress is good. Work, work. And in the dorm back there to yourself. Yes. People here are busy with serious business. Is this what we are talking about now or what? Me. Am I wrong about something? Maybe it won't be like that. Maybe it won't be like that. Natasha will sit down and say, oh, it's fine. Look, 30 now, then I'll raise 60, right? Well, it's fine, but what about the children? Then these children will be very beloved. Natasha will have very desirable children. By the way, a great way to replenish orphanages is also not bad. And then, as if, well, she won't have a salary, well, maybe. I don't know, maybe she doesn't want to work, she wants to quit. Natasha will say, that's what I'm tired of these here, means Jackie Chan, Bruce Lee. I'm tired of it. Well, as if I'm quitting. I handed them over to an orphanage, but what, tired of it? I went to work. Something without the kids, it turns out it was better, right? So is this going to happen? I don't understand. Well, tell us your versions. Here's an interesting comment for me just on this here. Look at this. That is, we gathered, well, not us, okay, and in general, I have nothing to do with it. And I am no one to advise something, to teach someone. I'm just curious. I was just bombed out from under this interview. Just bombed. I'm fucked up, that's the least you can say, just like that. Yes, that is, we are offered, I explain again, well, we are offered to take Natasha like this. She plants one crop of the second. From no one knows from whom. It doesn't matter. We pay her a salary. Naturally, we will have to put a tax on childlessness. Yes. Some guy. Us. I took Vanechka, I took this as an example. That's a very good name, by the way. Here we take Feder, we'll take him. Let's take Fedya, so that no one is offended, right? Let's give Vitya, right? We take Vitya. Vitya, of course, he does not have a woman and will not have one. He's a bum. He's a bum. And who is he? Curly, 2 meters tall, blonde or brunette, or maybe he's a handsome Turk. Maybe there's some kind of TV series that looks like an actor from the TV series. Maybe he is like that. No, but I'll tell you, they will come from all over the world to this news, they will fly like flies. Such stallions that will just, well, be filled with demographics, and Vitya will pay everything. Well, Vitya will really call her like that, but she has money, the salary is fine, the podstolnik. When did she make 3, right? One looks like a Turkish actor, the other, you know, looks like Belmondo there. Yes. So she made 3, now she has 100. Vit, come connect Wi-Fi, what's there? The water doesn't flow, I don't know there. On. Cool. Write your opinion in the comments, please. That's about it. It's not trillions, it's billions, and billions are completely different amounts. Everything ends with a traben, because this is the foundation. And I think our esteemed radio listeners agree with this. So fundamentally, we return to the proposal of a high salary for the mother. A benefit from the state is such that you can live. I wouldn't even call the numbers now, but it's certainly not 10 or 12,000. The camera freezes, there will be a gluing. What ends the traben? Because this is the foundation. And I think our esteemed radio listeners agree with this. So fundamentally we return to the proposal. The guy is bad in all respects. It's necessary to trample Vanechka in general, just, I do not know. To trample him already below the baseboard, in general, take everything away from him, and say, ah, Pasha, we need money. And we'll figure out who they will give birth to, It's none of your business. Don't meddle in matters of national importance. You know, you laid the demographics, and you, Vanya, watch what you're doing. You don't pay enough alimony. That's it. Yeah. The mother's high salary, the allowance from the state, is such that it is possible to live. I wouldn't even call the numbers now, but it's certainly not 10 or 12,000. The 30th wants works, does not want does not work. Why not? And what not? Words and the money that is going to help the military today. The star you are is called communism. Peaceful situations should be aimed at helping demography. So it seems to me that this is not, of course, not a 100% solution, not a panacea. But there will be a bomb, I assure you, because those who do not want to give birth for financial reasons, they often still have some moral considerations. But to make sure that the birth of another child brings additional income to the family. This income was serious. These will be beloved, desired, expected children, and in the end, from really beloved men. Do not understand who this one is walking here, This is bullshit, which they themselves are. They themselves have now called you an unworthy bullshit at the beginning of the video. This is bullshit, it's just going to be a laborer. And normal men are seriously such horses, fuck, they will breed. That's fine. And they will also multiply by clubs. And what got knocked up there by drunkenness? It's fine. I came from rockets. Fuck, it's fucking great. And who will be born there? What's there? What's his name? What's the difference? What's the difference? He doesn't need a dad. What dad? Come on, don't bother me. Can't you see Mom talking on the phone? It seems to me that this will help partially solve that problem. Nikolai, it seems to me that you are running somewhere, but we have a minute. I can tell by your rhetoric that the elections are coming soon. Because such, I'm sorry, very kind, good, caring proposals, which are absolutely not the Ministry of Finance, of course, will not even go for this, because it's trillions. Calculate. For each woman you want to allocate a more or less full salary for the fact that she is perfectly sitting with a child. But just count on the calculator. It's just economics, it's also a topic. Vladimir, they thought there was absolutely nothing wrong with that. No, if anything, I'm for it. With both hands, of course, for. All in favor. Well, fine. And what will be even more fucking beautiful in this life? In some Zimbabwe, where money is carried in packages, and you publish money, you will not be able to buy anything. Here, the security of the ruble. Here's about Africa. Dear friends, we'll talk after a short pause, so don't go far, and we'll discuss something about Africa. Well, here's a video like this, guys. It hit me hard, I honestly admit. In general, it's simple. Well, it's scary to imagine this picture at all. It's just scary to imagine this picture. Can you imagine what will happen? Imagine what will happen. What are these people thinking about anyway? They don't think of putting women in their place, somehow explaining to them what is necessary. Stop being childish. Let's somehow establish a dialogue. Let's somehow consider a man as a person. No, a man is like them, despite the fact that women are filing for divorce. What's the difference? No, it's still the guy's fault. The man is to blame. The man is always the last one with them. This is some kind of piece of shit. He doesn't want to pay alimony. Dad is worthless, despite the fact that children are simply taken away from their fathers and then blackmailed by these children. Don't you guys know that? You didn't know. They live like that in general. I do not know what planet these people are from. You know, I am not in Russia, but I perfectly understand the whole situation in the CIS, which is not only in the CIS. But these people do not want and will not understand. I don't know what political motivates them, and what motivates them is the course of their thoughts. I don't understand what they have. I don't even know how to describe it at all. But if they sincerely think so, well, this is state-scale Alinism then. But it seems to me all the same. I don't even know. Let's you write in the comments. I'm interested in reading, to be honest. Because my emotional opinion right now is this, it's so-so. Sort of. Okay, thank you all. Subscribe to the channel, put likes. The second part is from Russia. I just can't put this whole construction together in my head yet, what exactly I wanted to convey to you with the help of Russia. Well, you naturally called me a deer there and fell for it. I didn't fall for anything. I understand everything. Everything that is written there in the comments, a video with Russia will be fixed here. I understand all this. I'm not a fool. I wasn't born yesterday. Here. So there will be a second video where I will explain some other angles. I will try to show you a look not at Russia, but at this situation. Here I don't like to leave here in particular. Here I left Vereshchu in particular, but in order to show the big picture later, in the next video. But then, when I have my final opinion, so that I can already say everything clearly, and not like now about your comments. Here. Thank you all. See you again.
До новых встреч.